Well, you've been touring homes for months, and you aren't sure that you can keep going like this. Somewhere between the 47th open house and another bidding war, you're thinking to yourself, I'm just gonna build my own house. All right, can your dream home project come to fruition, or will it die before it even gets off of the ground? In 2026, building a new house in the DC area is one of the most misunderstood and expensive decisions that a buyer can make. Most buyers have absolutely no idea what they are walking into. In fact, building your own home might just be the worst, most dangerous investment in the DMV. Today, I am going to break down for you 3 different paths to a new home in the DC area. Do you remember those old choose your own adventure books? No, just me really aging myself. I am choosing to believe that you all know what I'm talking about and secretly love them. Today, you are going to choose your own path based on how much risk, time, and money you are willing to put in. There are 3 options if you want a brand new home, and we're gonna dive deep on each in order of the path of easiest to most difficult. First is that you can buy directly from a builder. Second is you can buy a teardown and build your own home on it. Third, you can buy a piece of vacant land and build your home on it. Let's dive in. First, we are going to talk about buying from a builder. There are all different kinds of builders, you guys. Some are small and only build a few houses a year. Some are huge national builders who build thousands of houses a year. The experience with small, national, or everything in between is going to vary tremendously. Small builders are often more flexible than large builders. Smaller builders may allow for a semi-custom type of experience where they provide a basic home plan and then you can make changes to it or to portions of it. Many large builders are publicly traded and they have stock prices that they need to uphold, lots of investors to answer to. Large builders have plans that they build repeatedly over and over again, and you'll just have to choose among the options that they offer. So if your small builder allows you to customize the plans, architectural work, very expensive. Ensure that you know how much of your budget you plan to use for amended plan drawings. That's if you go the semi-custom route. You could spend $20,000 to $50,000 for custom architectural plans. Now, large builders have subdivisions, and typically what they're going to do is release their lots in phases. This is as much for their convenience as it is for sales optimization. It doesn't make sense to move construction vehicles all over a subdivision. Also, builders release the lots in order of least desirable to most desirable. There are a couple reasons for this. First, buyer demand is strongest when the community first opens. There have been months and months of marketing where interested buyers have been signing up on the builder's website, waiting for this big grand opening, and then at the grand opening weekend, the most motivated and serious of all those buyers arrive, pen in hand, ready to sign a contract. Second, they can train the public to believe that prices only go up due to demand. This is how they incentivize people into buying the less desirable lots and how they encourage this flurry of early sales. Now, builders must show their lenders, also known as their bank, who's giving them the loan, that they have these signed buyer contracts lined up, or they often can't file for additional draws on their money, which then slows down their development and their building till they get those contracts in place. So they are incentivized to come out the gate hot. So if you are buying in phase 1 of a new community, you might be overpaying for the worst location. Phase 1 is the best deal for the builder, not for you. Let's review pros and cons buying from a builder. Let's do the pros first. So, you know what you're getting here. The builder is handling the heavy lifting of all of this behind the scenes work. They're doing the permitting, they're doing the construction, and you as the buyer really get to make the fun choices. What color cabinets do you want? What kind of flooring do you want? And a host of other items that they put in front of you and allow you to choose. That home comes with a warranty from the builder as well as warranties from all the individual appliance vendors and manufacturers. All good stuff. Cons. Builders build profit into their final price. Their profit margins are anywhere from 15 to 25% or more. You are going to start with negative equity. If you pay $800,000 for a home that the builder built, they probably spent $650,000 getting that up and out of the ground. You are already underwater on day one unless market prices rise rapidly in your favor. And that typically won't happen without some outside force. For example, Amazon announced that their HQ2, headquarters 2, is coming to your neighborhood like they did announce about Arlington a few years ago. Or interest rates drop rapidly, which spurs future homebuyers to act sooner. Or there's a pandemic and people change where they want to live and suddenly your neighborhood becomes hot. You get it? These are all things you really have no control over. Another con is that this is not a short-term purchase. Plenty of people have found themselves having to sell 1 to 2 years after they purchase. Then they are competing with the builder's sales team who's still selling in the rest of the community out of that gorgeous model home. Yes, please think about that for a moment. You, as an existing homeowner, will never be able to offer the incentives that the builder is offering at that lovely model down the street. It just doesn't happen. Now, who should buy from a builder? Somebody who likes the location and the floor plans of the property that are being offered. Somebody who wants to make some internal selections, but not every single material choice. And most important, somebody who plans to stay in that home at least 10 years, you guys, at least. There is so much to understand about the process of buying from a builder that I actually have several videos on the topic. Definitely check out my recent one about the new construction secrets, because that one will actually give you a much deeper dive on what to look for. Next up, we're going to go to tearing down an existing home. All right, if there are no builders in the area where you want to live, you might need to find a home that's a tear down. Then you use that piece of land to build your house. When people hear that this is an option, they are often super confused. They ask, why would you tear down a house when you could just go buy a piece of vacant land? Well, process is very different. So let's go through the pros and cons of why you would tear a house down. An existing home has utilities at the site already. Even if this home is beyond a state of repair, you know that this house at one time had utilities in place. Running electric, gas, water, and sewer lines to a piece of vacant land is costly. The closer utilities are to the house location, the lower the cost. If you've got utilities right there under the ground where the house is, you're in good shape. Another pro, for now, is the lack of impact fees. So what are impact fees? They're essentially a one-time tax that must be paid to the jurisdiction when you are adding a new home to the community. It is for impact in the way of traffic, schools, and other community resources. More bodies means more cars on the roads, more kids in the schools, more police needed, all of that. So impact fees right now are not in place for teardowns in the DMV. This could save you anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000, just depending on the jurisdiction. The home that you tore down was already accounted for in the impact of the community, so it's exempt. Again, that is for now. There has been some discussion brewing in some of the counties in the DMV that a lot of money is being lost by not having impact fees for teardowns, especially when you think about it. A 2-bedroom Rambler home that somebody tears down where there was maybe just a couple people living and maybe one vehicle, that gets replaced with a 7-bedroom McMansion, and maybe there's 5 or 6 drivers that are now added to the roads, plus multiple children in the schools. You can see why they're now suddenly considering this. All right, another thing is that utility connections for teardowns are also much lower than for a brand new home. Another pro is that the neighborhood is already established. You know who the neighbors are. You can ask them about neighborhood amenities, schools. You do not have to wonder who is going to buy the house next door and what's going to happen over there. Finally, if the home has asbestos or lead paint, all of that just goes away. Once it's torn down, those materials are encapsulated, they're safely removed, and then you get a brand new house and you don't have to worry about all of that stuff. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some cons to tearing down an existing home. First up, you are going to need a demo permit to tear that house down. There can be several layers to the approval of the permit. The jurisdiction may require you to coordinate recycling and reuse on some of these materials. Also, if the seller was living in the house, they probably do not see their home as a teardown. The idea that their home might be torn down could trigger some emotional things for them. Most sellers, they're going to try to fix things up and see if they can't squeeze more money out of the house. If they do, say $5,000 worth of work, they might raise their price by $15,000. This is money out of your pocket that's going to just completely go to waste if your plan is to tear the house down. The best way to prevent this is to find the house before it hits the open market. This is another con. Finding these houses off market is incredibly difficult. There are people who spend their entire days just investigating tax records, making phone calls, knocking on doors just to find that one person or persons who want to sell at a low price. Then what happens? Well, those people either do the teardown themselves, the construction work, and like they're a reputable builder, and then they seek a buyer for the final product, which is the house, or they try to flip the contract for more money. This is called wholesaling, and it is a very predatory process. Many elderly people have been convinced by these fast-talking front porch visitors to sell their homes for much less than their value. Then the buyer flips the contract for more money. Grandma agrees to sell for $300,000. The buyer gets her to agree to that, and then he finds somebody to buy it for $400,000. He never closes on the property. He just has them slide in his place, and he makes $100,000 for essentially just being the middleman. Wholesalers blow up my phone every day and my email. Hello, Melissa. We have a home in this area for price X with an expected renovation cost of Y and an after repair value sales price of Z. Bullshit. By the time a wholesaler gets their grubby little hands on it, you need to run. One final thing to know, you must be very diligent about where you choose a teardown home. Teardowns in higher price neighborhoods, and think like 1 million and up, they're usually a solid financial decision around here in this area. Single family homes in the DMV suburbs run from $500,000 well into the millions. Those $500,000 homes are not usually in neighborhoods that will support a $1 million new home. You never want to be the most expensive house in the neighborhood for decades and decades, waiting for everything to catch up. Okay. I am Melissa Terzis, DC Real Estate Mama, and this is my channel where I talk about buying and selling real estate. I'm going to give my contact info at the end, but if you need help with your real estate needs, please reach out. Now we are moving on to the final way to get yourself a new house, and that is buying vacant land. We have arrived at the final option. So you're going to build your house on a piece of vacant land. This is the world in which I started my real estate career in 2001. So why would somebody want to buy a piece of vacant land? Well, maybe they can't find the house that can be torn down, and no builder out there is offering what they want in terms of floor plan or location. So they can get the exact home they want, usually, and this is where the pros end. Now we have to talk about the cons. The unknowns with land use are extensive, complicated, and they will cost you a lot of money. To get a piece of land approved to where you can actually build a home on it, there are many layers of approvals that you'll need to get through with the county, the town, the city, sometimes multiple jurisdictions. This will cost you a lot of money. You need to hire an engineer to conduct a feasibility analysis prior to even closing on the land. This will cost you a lot of money. The engineer will tell you what they believe you can do, and you have to couple that with your house plans to ensure that you can get the home you want. Guess what? I bet you guessed already. That will cost you a lot of money. Now, the engineer will create and submit plans. The jurisdiction in charge of approvals, they're going to want to know everything. Where are you putting your driveway? What trees are you cutting down? Where are the utilities going to connect? And a dozen other things that the engineer will walk you through. By the time you jump these hurdles to get the county or the city to agree to your plans, that teardown, you guys, is starting to look real good. With vacant land, you will often have no infrastructure. You have to put in the electric, the water and sewer, and get the lot paved. A lot of people just don't have the expertise to do this. When you bring in contractors to do all this work, you are a one-off to them. The grading contractor charges the same to bring their equipment, which is what they call mobilization, to your one lot that they do to the 100-unit subdivision. It is not cost effective. They're going to charge you $30,000 just to show up with their trucks, but they're going to charge a builder the same $30,000. In fact, they may actually charge a builder less because the builder is a future source of business. You, with your one lot and your one house, are not. They are never going to hear from you again, and they are never going to get business from you again. You also cannot spread unexpected costs across a bunch of lots. If there's a mistake, if they hit rock when they're digging your foundation, if supplies get destroyed by the elements, you have to pay for this. Unlike in a situation with a builder where they can spread those costs out over all of the lots in the community, you will have no such option. Now, I mentioned this as a pro in the teardown section. It is definitely a con here. Impact fees. They can run $30,000 to $80,000 in the DMV. Remember that when you build a new home where there wasn't already a home, you are now adding an impact to the community. There is also the site work. This is the prep work just to get the house ready for the foundation to be poured. In the DMV, this can cost anywhere from like $200,000 to $300,000. Do developers pay this for their lot development? No, they do not. Their costs are usually $100,000 per raw lot. Remember, they're spreading a lot of these costs across the entire subdivision, and that is a luxury that you don't have with one lot. So that $200,000 to do the site work, you have to add that to the cost of the land. And then you also have to figure out how much it's going to cost to build the house. All in all, you're going to be lucky to get any of this done for $1 million. It's virtually impossible to get any of this done for under $1 million, no matter where in the DMV you're looking. So this path is not for the faint of heart, not for the impatient, or for anybody without deep pockets and a great contractor network. After 25 years in the DMV real estate market, I have seen all three of these paths go right and go wrong, and the difference is almost always in the preparation and the expectations. So I am Melissa Terzis. I am here when you are ready to figure out which path makes sense for you. My contact info is coming next.
Wanna hear you go.